Hey, what's up, guys? CombatCritique here. Let's take a look at this upcoming fight between Manon Fiorot and Rose Namajunas. Let's get started. Let's take a look at the records of these two fighters. Starting with Manon, she has 11 fights and she's won 10 of her 11 fights, lost just once. If we talk about her 10 wins, she has 6 wins via knockout and another 4 via decision. And she has lost just once via decision. She has no wins or losses via submission on her record so far. Now let's take a look at Rose Namajunas' record. She has 16 fights in total and she's won 11 of her 16 fights and lost just 5. If we take a look at her 11 wins, she has 2 wins via knockout and 5 wins via submission. So she has more submission wins than knockout wins, and she has 4 decision wins as well. If we talk about her 5 losses, she has 1 loss via knockout, 1 via submission, and 3 via decision. So she has lost mostly fights via decision. And if we talk about her wins, most of her wins are surprisingly submission wins. Now let's take a look at the physical and career stats of both these fighters. Starting with the height, it is 5'7" for Manon and it is 5'5" for Rose Namajunas. So Rose, who is pretty tall for 115 pounds, is actually the smaller fighter here, and Manon is the taller fighter by about 2 inches. She should have a 2-inch height advantage. Weight, so this fight is at 125 pounds. Rose is moving up, it's not at 115. She will be the smaller fighter here. Reach is 65 inches for both these fighters. And if we talk about the stance, it is again orthodox for both these fighters. If we talk about the age, both are pretty young fighters, but Manon is surprisingly the older fighter here, and Rose is younger by about 2 years. I don't think age will play much of a factor in this fight. Now let's talk about the career statistics, starting with the striking numbers. First up, we have the strikes landed per minute. So this signifies the number of significant strikes that you land on your opponent per minute. This is 6.58, which is pretty high for Manon, and it is 3.66, almost half that number for Rose Namajunas. So in this case, Manon is landing a lot more significant strikes on her opponents per minute, and she will have an advantage. Striking accuracy is 42% for Manon and it is 40% for Rose. So both these fighters are pretty even, but a very slight edge goes to Manon. Strikes absorbed per minute. Now this signifies the number of strikes that you absorb per minute on average. This is 3.14 for Manon and it is 3.5 for Rose Namajunas. Rose has had quite a few wars with Joanna and with a lot of these fighters. I think that is why her stats are a bit inflated. In this case, you want these to be as low as possible because you are getting hit lesser. So again, the advantage here goes to Manon. She gets hit lesser compared to Rose. Striking defense is 71% for Manon, which is really good, and it is 60% for Rose. So again, the advantage here goes to Manon. However, keep this in mind that as we'll see, Manon has not had a lot of UFC fights, and these stats are derived from her UFC fights, which are not a lot in number. Whereas if we talk about Rose, she has faced a lot of big fighters in the division, and she's had quite a few wars with them. So this can definitely, the experience factor can definitely play a factor in this fight. Now let's take a look at the wrestling, grappling, and BJJ stats, starting with the takedown average. It is 1.69 for Manon Fiorot and it is 1.61 for Rose Namajunas. So both these fighters are pretty even, but a very slight edge goes to Manon. Takedown accuracy is just 50% for Manon and it is 57% for Rose. So here the advantage for the first time goes to Rose. Takedown defense is 83% and 83% for Manon and it is 60% for Rose. So again the advantage here goes to Manon. She is having a really good takedown defense and this will definitely be tested in this fight. I think Rose will try to wrestle with her. Submission average, however, is 0. So Manon has not attempted any submission in the UFC so far, whereas it is 0.6 for Rose. So Rose is the better grappler. And if this fight goes to the ground, I think Rose will have an advantage. However, keep in mind that all the striking metrics that we have seen favor Manon, and takedown defense is at 83%, which is really solid for Manon. The only two things that are better for Rose is takedown accuracy and submission average. Now let's move on to the next slide. Now let's talk about the significant strikes by position. If we start with Manon, so 87% of all her strikes are in the standing position, 8% in the clinch, and just 5% on the ground. So she pretty much likes to keep it standing. She doesn't like to fight in the clinch or on the ground. If we talk about Rose Namajunas, so 77% of all her strikes are in the standing position, 8% in the clinch, and 15% on the ground. So she has better ground and pound than Manon Fiorot. I think we can say that from this start. Now let's take a look at the significant strikes by target. So 33% of all the strikes that Manon throws are to the head, 34% to the body, and another 33% to the leg. She is very diversified in terms of her shot selection. I don't think I have seen anybody with this kind of diversification. She is as even as you can be. Now let's take a look at Rose Namajunas' strikes by target. So 77% of all her strikes to the head, she likes to head hunt, and 15% to the body, and just 8% to the leg. So Rose Namajunas, who is a very good striker, actually does not throw leg kicks. She throws head kicks, and she has knocked out the current champion Zhang Weili via head kick, but she does not throw leg kicks. I think the shot selection and the fact that we have seen in the previous slide how Manon was ahead on all the four metrics of striking, we can safely assume that Manon is actually the better striker in this fight. The things that favor Rose is her ground and pound and the fact that she has better submission average than Manon Fiorot. Now let's take a look at the previous fights of these two fighters, starting with Manon. So Manon in her last fight beat Caitlin Chukagian by unanimous decision. This fight happened in October of last year. It was a 3-round fight. And if we talk about the fight before that, she beat Jennifer Maia again via unanimous decision in March of last year. This was also a 3-rounder. Before that, she beat Mayra Bueno Silva via unanimous decision in October of 2021. And before that, she beat Tabata Ricci via TKO in the second round in June of 2021. I think this fight is what gained her the popularity. Before that was her UFC debut, where she beat Victoria Leonardo via TKO in the second round, and this happened in January of 2021. So she has not had a lot of UFC experience. She has a little over 2 years in the UFC. The only thing that is troubling for her is her experience, lack of experience in the octagon. Now let's compare it with a veteran like Rose Namajunas. So Rose in her last fight, she lost to Carla Esparza via split decision, and this was a 5-round fight. It happened in May of last year. She is taking more than a year off and coming back to fight at a higher weight class. So she was a natural 115. Now she's moving up to 125 and facing Manon Fiorot. Before that, if you talk about her fights previous to that loss with Carla, she beat Zhang Weili via split decision, and this was also a 5-rounder, and this happened in November of 2021. Before that, she beat Zhang Weili via head kick, and this happened in the very first round. Before that, she beat Jessica Andrade via split decision. This fight really showed that Rose has great striking abilities, and before that she lost to Jessica via slam KO in the second round. Before that she beat Joanna via unanimous decision. This fight happened in April of 2018. It was again a 5-round fight, and so she has a lot of experience fighting the top level fighters at 115. And before that also she beat Joanna via TKO in the very first round in November of 2017. And before that she beat Michelle Watterson via submission rear naked choke. This happened in the second round, and this fight was happened in April of 2017. The only thing you can take away from this is that Manon Fiorot does not have the experience, whereas Rose Namajunas has been with the very best in UFC's 115-pound division, and this can play a factor in determining who's gonna win this fight. Also, if you look at how she won the second Zhang Weili fight, I think she will try to use the same wrestling approach in this fight as well, because Manon Fiorot is a better striker, and Rose, if she gets the fight to the ground, she is a better grappler and a better submission artist. I think she should go with this game plan. She should try to take Manon Fiorot down. However, Manon Fiorot has a good takedown defense, and also she is a bigger fighter. This fight is not happening at 115, it is happening at 125. So this neutralizes the wrestling of Rose Namajunas a bit. For these reasons, I am picking Manu to win this fight. I think she will stuff the takedowns of Rose Namajunas and outland her on the feet. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I'll see you guys in the next video.